sometimes their transactional real estate lawyer will convince them to sign a mutual release, right? Saying, okay, I wash my hands of this. And I get frustrated when I hear that, because legally speaking, if a buyer fails to close on a firm deal, the seller is 100% entitled to that deposit, period, full stop. And so I don't know why so many people will just give the deposit back or share it or something like that. I appreciate nobody likes going to court, and a big part of what I do actually is trying to talk people out of going to court because it can get so expensive. But for something like a deposit, it is so straightforward. We can bring an application, we can get the entire deposit released to the seller. You don't have to negotiate. And I guess this is a huge message, a huge takeaway for your audience, sellers specifically. Don't sign a mutual release until you have a lawyer review it. Go talk to somebody who actually litigates for a living and understand what it is that you're signing, because I can't tell you the number of times where a seller, the buyer fails to close and it's a firm deal, but the buyer fails to close. And maybe there's a $50,000 deposit, sitting in some trust fund. And everyone convinces the seller to sign a mutual release where the buyer gets back half the deposit, they get 25 grand, the seller gets 25 grand, and they've washed their hands of it. But here's the problem. If that seller now goes and has to sell the same house that, as an example, that buyer was going to buy for $1 million, just as an example. Yeah. Well, what happens if now that seller has to go sell the house for $900,000, $800,000, right? Like, what if there's a huge diminishment in sale price? If that happens, you've already signed the mutual release. You can't do anything. You can't sue them. You can't get that money. And so it's not something to be done lightly. Like signing a mutual release, you are giving up all of your rights. And so at a minimum, you should be consulting with a legal professional to understand what it is that you're giving up.